the Hudsonville City Commission regular session dated April 14th, 2026. Would the clerk call the roll, please?
Commissioner Bullheis. Commissioner Branson.
Here.
Commissioner DeBrey.
Here.
Commissioner Grote.
Here.
Commissioner Camp.
Here.
Commissioner Nitre.
The mayor is also present. Would everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk please note that Mr. Bullheis was in the audience and did not hear the roll. Now is the time for a moment of silence. Are there any suggestions or thoughts from any commissioner? I did speak to Commissioner Branson. We both agreed that obviously we're troubled by what is happening in the Mideast and our men and women standing in harm's way in the Straits of Hormuz and across Iran. And guys, I just got to tell you, I pray that this one turns out better than Iraq and Afghanistan. So we can have a moment of silence. Thank you. And, you know, Andrea, your husband stood guard out there on several deployments, and Jack, your son, Larry, and we all have a personal interest. Tobin, I know you have a cousin, right? It's deeply personal. We have friends, family that have served and will. Just can only pray that they. All right, consent agenda items. There are 5. City Commission regular session minutes dated March 10th. A work session dated March 24th. Board review March 3, 9, and 10. Terrace Square Advisory Board dated March 18th. And the accounts payable reviewed and approved between meetings by the Finance Committee and City Manager. Payment of the bills of $507,170.85 cents and ACH $119,674.32. Are there any changes or issues with the consent agenda items? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The consent agenda items carry. Carry on to departmental reports. The March Public Safety Statistical Reports. Chief Essenberg, you're up.
Good evening. The month of March, not super busy. We had 64 calls for service, which was kind of an average month, but yet for the year, we're down just a little bit from last year. So that's good. This month, we're picking the pace back up again a little bit, so April has turned into a little bit busier of a month. Calls of note, we did have a kitchen fire in Summer Green condos. Minimal fire damage, but there was quite a bit of damage to the condo itself, just smoke and water damage. And then we had a couple of appliance fires. One was a water cooler in a commercial business, and the other one was a microwave, and one was a space heater. So each of those were full response calls. And then you can see our training on there that we did. And Life EMS report is also attached, and that was for the month of February. And they dipped where they were running in the low to mid 90s. We had a month in February there that was 73% compliance. So we have a meeting scheduled with Life when I get back from vacation. We're going to chat a little bit on response times.
Any ideas what the root cause is or why?
I don't really know. They didn't give me a straight up reason yet, so we'll meet and we'll find out why. I know that, you know, they're short staffed too, but 73 is pretty low for compliance.
It's the lowest I've seen it since I've been.
Yeah, probably, you know, post-COVID, that's probably the lowest that we've seen, so we need to get right on that.
And you had 2 fire cadets come through, or new newbies?
So we have 2 applicants. We're currently working through that process right now, so hopefully I can have some good news in the near future.
Very good. Any questions for the fire? Thank you, Steve. Have a great
Thank you.
evening. Moving on to the Sheriff's Department, Lieutenant.
He let me know a couple hours ago.
Oh, yeah. Can we flash up the report then, please? I didn't notice, is there anything of note in the Sheriff's report? Seeing there's no items of note in the Sheriff's report, we'll go on to the Emergency Management report.
All right. Good evening. There are a few things I want to highlight in the report tonight. First of all, as Chief Hessenberg mentioned, there was a traffic incident management training, and they invited our department to be part of that. So I think 6 people from my department were able to attend, including myself, and it was interesting. Some of the stuff that doesn't necessarily apply to what we do because we generally are not closing the highway. But there was a fair amount of useful information that I've actually rolled back into the traffic direction training that I provide for my department and for the county volunteers. So we're able to carry some of that forward. I want to highlight a couple things around weather, and of course weather's probably in everybody's mind because it could get interesting tonight. Tonight's the night when if you have stuff that needs to be tied down, it should be tied down. We are in a moderate risk for high winds, for hail, possibly even isolated tornadoes, so keep that in mind, please, tonight. But anyway, we were called to assist Jamestown Township last month. They had 3 different scenes with lines down and a traffic incident they were dealing with, and so they were running out of personnel and apparatus. And so we were able to go out and help them, and so I now have a new best friend as the deputy fire chief down there. Worked out really well. We were able to interoperate nicely. Whether it happens much going forward is yet to be seen, but at least in a pinch, they know that there's a resource here. And then I want to highlight that severe thunderstorm warning of that same incident, just to point out that what I noted there, that's really what we do anytime there's a severe thunderstorm warning. We're monitoring the weather radar. We are in communication with National Weather Service. There was a webinar at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I always have one person on that webinar. They ask that we only have one person on the webinar because they only have so many lines. So we always have one person on that, and then we share that information out with the rest of the team. We will call the National Weather Service directly if we see something that's concerning specifically to us. And we have a phone number that goes right to the on-duty meteorologist, so it gets us a quick answer. And we also monitor amateur radio to hear what the Skywarn network is seeing out in the rest of the county. So we have a handful of people on my team already right now listening and watching things as weather comes across the lake. So I wanted to highlight that because that's an example of what we do every time there's a thunderstorm warning. Any questions or comments?
I just want to note that I got a text from a good friend of mine who's a battalion chief, Grand Rapids Fire Department. He said, "Mark, you better batten down your city hatchets tonight. You're going to get a real hard blow." And then I just checked the weather on my app, but it doesn't show severe weather. So, this is obviously a very fluid kind of condition, but I haven't seen anything on the weather app.
Yeah, and I looked at the radar just a few minutes ago, and it's starting to creep across the lake. We actually, 8 minutes ago, entered the window that the NWS was forecasting for when severe weather could start, but not really expecting it to kick up significantly until later on this evening.
Well, I get everybody out here for the deal. Okay, 2 hours. Thanks, Dave. Any questions for Dave? Thanks, Dave. Have a good evening. And batten down the hatchet. Moving on to City Treasurer monthly reports. Ashley or Andrea, can you pull those up? I think we can just roll through these. I don't see anything significant. Mr. Smith back next month, I assume, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Unless you have something to add in.
No, just want to add on, Ashley, thank you for stepping in while Andrew's on vacation. testament to the cross-training we do and the leadership mechanisms we develop. So actually, well done there. I've talked to Andrew a couple times on some budget items and some other items there. Budget is roughly 75% done. There's always movement. We're securing some quotes. But as far as the direct financial report, no irregularities. We're starting to monitor our position with the remaining 2.5 months left in the fiscal year. So we'll look at that. One of the challenges that we have, like always, with our construction season is what projects we're budgeted for in this fiscal year that may need to be paid for in this year and then in next year too. So still good work doing on the budget, and look forward to the budget workshop in May.
I noticed you pulled up the investment report. Can you go back real quickly? The monthly rolling average is 39,000, a little over 39,000, which is roughly 3.5%. The investment report, as always, I think a lot of like that measurement we have, the amount we have in total cash investments, nearly $12 million. So financially, the city continues to be in very healthy condition. Our reserve balance. Governmental activities, we still have the one outstanding capital improvement bond on the Air Square, 4.1 million, of the 3.2 million principal. And then the last one you want to pull up is the grant tracking, which I always find it really fascinating to read that, see our success rate, what we're getting approved. You know, Chief just got the, did you actually buy the new turnout gear? Turnout gear. It's already.
It's ordered, it's not here yet, it's not paid for yet.
No, it's not paid for yet, but once you purchase it, then you get reimbursed from, is it FEMA? Yeah. So, I mean, these kind of grants really make or break this city, knowing there's money out there on the table. Any comments for the financial reports? Crowd tonight. Thank you. We'll move on then. Moving on to the next three items, which were item 4, 5, and 6. Legacy Winery and Spirits off-premise tasting room. Number 5 is a social district licensee, Legacy Wine and Spirits. And number 6 was a social district boundary expansion. I had some discussion with 3 of the commissioners with my request that we have these 3 tabled and call for an ad hoc liquor control board, which we've done routinely over the years. But I asked for a commission to make a motion with these 3 to be tabled for the next.
I would make that motion that we table these 3 items until our May.
Support.
Move and support. Any questions on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Following that, I do need 3 commissioners to serve on a alcohol liquor ad hoc board. It's not a formal board. These are just one-off boards. We'll meet for an hour with the city attorney to review the details of these. And the reason I felt so strongly, 1, is liquor, and 2, is Hudsonville. We got to make sure that in regards to this, that we as a commission need to kind of have some of us look to make sure that we're comfortable. That's why I didn't want to get into discussion tonight. But are there any commissioners here that would like to serve on that alcohol control board? I know Tobin, you have in the past. Tobin? Dave? Jack? So you 3 are comfortable serving. Here again, I've called for Tyler to just have the attorney come in and sit down for an hour, go through the paperwork, satisfy us, then when you come back in May, when you can make a motion to these 3 items. Very well, thank you. Any questions on that, clerk? We're good?
And can I bring up one more point? Social
Yeah.
district? We're going to have a follow-up discussion. I know that is part of the ad hoc committee, but I don't know if we're having a work session come up, but I have questions regarding that I want to have addressed.
We have a work session beforehand?
Yeah.
Maybe before the meeting in May?
I'll get to that. There's some moving parts. By all means, we want everyone to be comfortable before they cast a vote on the resolution. I'll work to schedule a date with those 3 commissioners. And where it comes up, I want to make sure you guys are comfortable. I can tell you that the process is long dealing with the MLCC. We need to put the city first and foremost, make sure we're doing it right. But we'd want to do this in haste. That way, on the back end, if it is approved, that gives the new business an opportunity to do their due diligence too. So we'll start with that, and then we'll have it on an agenda at some point as a discussion item or potential action item.
There have been some items in the news lately about their cease and desist, their licensing of their name. Is that going to require a refresh of all the paperwork, you know?
I don't know yet. I mean, this all came out yesterday. That's what I was informed. The city was aware that there was a previous joint business venture with the owners of Legacy Wine and Spirits and their former colleagues and partners. We were not provided with details at that time, but clearly this is something that before we move forward with resolutions, we want to make sure that everything's right on their end. I have the owner's contact information I got from Jacob this morning, and I was waiting for the results of this meeting to follow up with a phone call. We may bring the owners in and have a conversation that we can provide information to the ad hoc committee that may be valuable. It might not, but when we're talking alcohol licenses, we want to be sensitive to that, delicate. The process is important, but also the impact.
My concern is more related to boundaries and extending the social district parking lot. That's my concern.
Yeah, great conversation. Yep.
Maybe want to talk to Dave.
Well, that isn't something that the ad hoc committee, that's not a license, that maps.
There is a license within the social districting, and then the map amendment. Those were the other two items that were tabled. So I think it'll be great to talk about the social district and how that works too. And I think it's important that the decisions we make today, we think in the future with downtown development, making sure we're doing it right and we're looking at this from all angles. So I welcome the discussion.
Again, I don't have any issue with them being granted a license for social district outside their building, which most people have. It's when we're all of a sudden trying to alter that map and all of a sudden throw in the parking lot. That I have some questions.
Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity. Parking lots aren't just for cars; they're also activators. But how we use it needs to be well thought in the short term and the long term. And I look forward to the discussion.
Anything else? Any other discussion? I think you got your marching orders.
Yes, sir.
You have your three commissioners, Tobin, Dave. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 7, Village Green Consultant Recommendation. Is there a motion?
Motion to take from the table the Village Green Consultant recommendation.
Second.
Been moved and supported. I know, and I want to thank Dave in particular. We got this back a little late, then realized the changes hadn't been made. I know you navigated those changes through late. I didn't get a chance to review the actual changes back. You, Dave?
I did.
And they do meet all the requirements that came out of the work session.
Yeah, I feel like they accurately describe our conversation in terms of the scope.
It was all captured, satisfied. I don't have any discussion there. Anything to add to that, Jacob?
Well, this motion's just to get it on the
On the
table, and then we have the full one.
Call vote.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Nitre,
Yes.
Commissioner Grote,
Yes.
Commissioner Bullheis,
Yes.
Commissioner Branson,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVray,
Yes.
Commissioner Camp,
Yes.
Mayor Northrop.
Yes. That motion carries to table the Village Green Consultant.
Take it off.
Take it off the table. Now I need the recommended motion.
Read that one. Motion to allow the city manager on behalf of the city to enter into a professional services agreement with the Veritas Group, Inc. for Phase 1 planning work towards the Village Green not to exceed the amount set in the services agreement of $105,725.
And moved and supported. Now, Dave,
Yeah.
I understand that we had to put it back. on the table.
No, that's okay. I'm still switching gears from a Little League, so thanks for bearing
Did
with.
your son win? Maybe that's.
We just got underway today, so the Ball Diamond had 4 different teams practicing at the same time, so it's a bit of a circus. But just the discussion I'd love to have on this, I really appreciate Tyler taking the time to put in kind of those guardrails that we talked about. What I did see is we still have the original dollar amount that I know you had negotiated lower. I was just curious if we could discuss the pros and cons of it being at the higher amount or the lower amount.
Sure. First off, Commissioner, thank you for the phone call yesterday. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I did drop the ball to some extent in working with Jacob. That's on me, so I apologize for the late email last night with the update. I did explain the workshop going back 2 weeks ago and again yesterday with Pete Olson from the Veritas Group, just reflecting the City Commission's position, not so much as concerns, but direction, what we're looking, what the temperature of the discussion was, some of the ideas that were floated around to provide background for them. So again, I do apologize, that is on me with the late amendment to the proposal on page 5. As far as the price goes, Jacob and I had a great conversation last week. If you turn to page 35 of the proposal, it has the your investment breakdown. Based on the meeting that Commissioner Groh, Mayor Northrup, myself, and Jacob had going back last month and a half ago with the members of the Veritas and Civitas group, we need to be clear, the city has done a lot of great work in the process of realizing the Village Green. As such, some of that work will need to be refreshed, but some of that work, especially the data, still holds. We can age it where appropriately with the consultant, but that brought down the overall price from the $105,000 mark. So what we're asking for is to approve the agreement for up to that amount, with understanding that with the reduction, because of the work we've already done, is at $92,275. But you'll see that in item number 7 and item number 8, it's TBD. Based on the discussion that you guys take the consultant, because again, the goals and the vision are realized by the City Commission. The consultant will help staff and help the City Commission. Staff will do the work under the guidance of this guidance and firm direction of this body. But as we go down there may be needs for potential other items that will definitely make a positive impact to the agreement. So by approving it as provided with up to that amount, but seeing the baseline amount, it prevents us from having to come back again for a few $1,000s here, a few $1,000s there. And that's a lot of money, and I want to take that seriously. But it gives us the flexibility where we're not stopping progress and going up to that amount. I did clear that amount, the original amount, that $105,000 with Andrew, Finance Director, beforehand. Budgetary, we can build it out like that. If you want to approve the proposal with that number there, that is something that you can do. It does create more work, which is okay, and it could cause some potential delays. So this is just flexibility of roughly $15,000 more that we can have for the TBD amounts, but also if there's a need for a parking study or other items that may come up that otherwise wouldn't be included. So that was the logic there. Whatever you guys decide, know that myself and city staff are completely okay with that. It's just pros and cons.
I think I've told the commissioner that we just have to trust you with money. I don't want to get into quibbling over $10,000 or $20,000 such a project. The real issue we had was I got item number 2. We've done so much shareholder engagement, vision line, all the work we've done in the last years. There's a body of information already there that we collect that we still need to drop more money, more stakeholder buy-in. Done a lot. So the big issue is they got to go back, look at all that, collate it, make sure that the fact is turned.
And the other thing is too, I know the proposal says $19,200. It could be less than that. They're not going to charge us. They're going to work off these amounts, and if we come up less here, then we save. And one thing I can tell you about the Veritas and the Civitas group, they're not charging based on the project cost. Whereas you could have a consultant come in and add in bells and whistles, and if it increases the overall price and they're in a locked-in percentage, well, there's just a difference of 20% of $4 million and 20% of $6 million. So this isn't tied to the overall amount. It is a scope of work to do under the guidance of the various phases here that's it. And so if the project shrinks, the project were to grow, we don't know what that looks like yet. The amounts are defined. And so in these various categories, if we don't hit that amount, then there's savings. But regardless, Mr. Mayor, that conversation that we had, I think it makes sense to lower that. But as we dive in, we'll know. Some things will be needed refreshed, some things are going to be good. But that's something that we'll talk about with the city commission and with the consultant to make those decisions.
Toby, any other questions or discussion? Dave?
I appreciate the explanation, regarding those TBD amounts and the difference. I just, I've done the consulting contract, so having the leverage of a fixed number, I appreciated having that. And by having the approved amount be higher than what they said they're going to do the work for, that removes, in my mind, a little bit of your leverage in the contract. But if you're comfortable with it, I think I can come around to that. They now know it's approved for more than what they said they're going to do the work for.
And I think that's fair. And part of this is, and Dave, you and I had a quick conversation there. I've worked with consultants too, and I think we both have some great stories and some stories where they went a little bit sideways. I am asking for trust here. I met Landon Martin with the Veritas Group going on a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. We've had several discussions. 2 members of their leadership team are Hudsonville residents. They have ownership in this. They want to be part of this project. Simply put, I do trust them from what I know so far, but I'll make it clear to them. We had a discussion here about the way that the overall monetary amount looks like, and as of right now, there's no indication of anything going sideways there. But I think that is a very valid and fair concern. The one thing too on this and my position here is if we're in at 92 and we need this extra work, when you talk about from 92, we'll say to 102, that's $10,000. And when we're looking at a multi-million-dollar project, we break that down by percentages. This is a lot of money. 10K is a lot of money. It is. But we don't want to nickel and dime ourselves here based on need. And the flexibility with where we're at capacity, the amount of workload right now, it allows me to move quicker and more efficiently for you guys. Equally, if you'd like me to come back steps of the way, I can appreciate that, but this is a very initial step. Everything from here gets more difficult and requires more discussion. So I'm willing, staff's willing to support you guys with what you need. If that adds more steps, that's okay. I'm good with that. It's important that from staff, the community, and this elected body, we want to row together. We want to be on the same page. We're on the same team. We look forward to a great project. It's just getting there, and I just don't want to get bogged down early in the process if we don't need to. But again, that's completely on you guys, and I respect any decision.
I appreciate that, Tyler, and I'll go with what the group decides.
Well, I assume they're going to itemize the bill anyway, so we'll have a good opportunity to evaluate what's done and being done.
Now, are we gonna pay in installments? We'll see those in the weekly finance report, billing of paying the bill.
I'll talk to them about what that looks like and the periods and communicate accordingly.
Nice, the finance committee was monitoring that live.
We can do that, but I think when we have a kickoff meeting and we talk about the project launch, what that looks like, who's routinely at the table, what kind of representation from elected officials up here do you guys want there? And these are questions that we can ask from the start and make it clear and share with the group. It's not below us to add on monthly progress meetings at workshops. You can make this what you need it to be comfortable, and I encourage you to do so. Because if you're not comfortable, it's tough for us to move forward. And I want everyone to come together. And so if that means we have to meet more periodically, ad hoc committees, standing committees for the time, however you guys want to structure it where you feel comfortable, that's what I support.
You indicated a monthly progress report. That written report goes a long way. Keeping it surprised.
Jeremy, you got anything to add? Okay. Larry? Motion's on the floor. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Grote,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVray,
Yes.
Commissioner Bullheis,
Yes.
Commissioner Branson,
Yes.
Commissioner Camp,
Yes.
Commissioner Nitre,
Yes.
Mayor Northrop.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the work that's in front of you. Tyler, but you understand. I think probably more than you want.
This was the easy part.
Moving on to the last item here, second last, WCET closeout resolutions. Sad and as hard as it for me to ask for the motion, I need to ask. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 26-1831, formally terminating WCET.
Been moved,
Support.
been moved and supported. It's a sad day that we can't fund our cable network. I know we have tried for years and years to find a path forward, but between TikTok and YouTube and the current demographics, local cable access, the relic of past. I know there's some PEG funding that is still there that we hold. As we hold that are.
Yeah, great question. So the city gets franchise fees from various agreements that we have, and we also get PEG fees. And PEG fees are collected from, let's just say, big media. Customers pay oftentimes a low nominal amount, cents, a couple bucks, and that is a PEG fee that is provided to the city. That PEG fee can only be utilized for a very small amount of things, primarily equipment. So it's not like the general fund that we can use. We can use general fund money on water maintenance, on street maintenance. But we have dedicated funds for those. We use our general fund for governmental activities. But with the PEG fees, we can only use them a certain way. In the city of Hudsonville, that total amount is roughly $3,000. So we'll no longer collect that. I'm working with our 3 providers of PEG fees to shut that down. On the flip side, as stated in my memo, we also send roughly $30,000 of franchise fees to WCT. That is general fund money. Similar to the cell tower. We'll get that money, that comes into the general fund. This body gets to decide how it's budgeted or allocated for. So by terminating the WCT channel, we have $30,000 that we now get to the general fund that otherwise has been sent to WCT. In talking with Lindsay Hicks, our community engagement director, talking with Amy Snow Buckner from Savo Consulting on the community engagement plan that we're working on, $30,000, take half that, hypothetically, $15,000 that we can repurpose to additional communication channels, budget neutral, and we still have $15,000 left. We have good people. We are looking at what are the best ways we can communicate and ensure full transparency with the community. So this provides us more flexibility to stay modern and tackle what we need and we control. And I think we can do it more efficiently and saving. Not that WCT can't, but it's public television. And as we all know, communication has changed, most certainly over the last decade, but going back 20 and 30 years ago. So while this is sad, I think it brings forth a unique opportunity where we can make more of a dent towards our goals.
We also can use it, can we not, for recording or me?
We can do anything you want, sir. It's general fund shutter. But yes, that is an idea. We're budgeting that in.
So we'll have to budget that money back, not capture.
Yep.
I saw that equipment that's going to be repurposed. Would any of those cameras be useful for our use? And they would be a discount price, but we may want to consider having those available if we want to record events.
So that 100% is on the table. I have a great relationship with the Granville city manager. We've known each other for 20 plus years. The drawdown, as you can see in the resolution, the remaining funds in the account will go to the schools. It's going to be very nominal if there's any left. We're spending it down. The schools act as the fiduciary. They don't charge WCT. And so the equipment is registered in their name, the van. And so we have depreciating assets that there's nominal value to. So as far as the money goes, I consider that a wash. As for the existing equipment, Griff and I have talked about it. We've been engaged with Granville Public and Hudsonville Public Schools. And what makes the most sense for equipment that has already been purchased and underutilized and amongst professionals, we're going to divvy it out, but you better believe I want a camera. But if that doesn't fit with our model and where we talk about broadcasting these meetings and public events, well, we just freed up $30,000 that otherwise we didn't have to invest in the right technology moving forward. But we'll look at that and think big picture of how do we use it, what makes sense. And I have no doubt working with the two school systems and the city of Granville that we'll be able to do it.
Sure, a lot of that equipment.
We have an interim plan for next.
So, Brian, shout out to you, my man. Brian is working as a contracted employee with the city. We're paying him through WCET, but now that WCET will sunset, I'm going to plan on sitting down with Brian, talking about what the short term looks like, what the long term looks like. And one thing that I'm trying to preach is efficiency. If that means Brian coming in, that's great, but there's steps from the time the meetings are recorded to the time they're emailed to the city and they're uploaded. We're looking at some software right now that will definitely make Jill's job more efficient and easier for department heads in terms of packet assimilating. But there's modules where a point and click with that software would allow us to much more easily upload a meeting, put in timestamps on it as it relates to the agenda. Now, we got to weigh out the cost there, but short-term plan, long-term plan, we got options, but I want to figure it out because as Commissioner Branson will attest to, I've been in college for a while. I'd like to consider myself a smart guy, but I don't speak AV or anything close, and I learn a new word from Commissioner Branson every time we meet to discuss it. So I want to get it done. I want to get it done right, but in the short term.
Yeah, Tobin raises a good point. There's 50 to 100 regular residents, team residents watch these videos, including your mayor. I routinely go back to see how we are acting. We're appropriate. I don't know who else.
My mother.
Your mother.
Shout
Yeah,
out,
okay.
shout out, Mom.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit personal to me that we provide that. Anything else from the?
I'd love if we could take a moment to thank Brian for the camera work
Yeah.
that he's done. At least the time I've been here, I don't know how long he's been with WCET, but you've been really amazing, Brian, and I'm grateful to work with you.
Sure. And if you have any insight, being a school principal, about how to manage through this.
Unfortunate.
We have to change. Very well, motion's on the floor. Any other discussion? I'll call for the roll.
Commissioner Branson,
Yes.
Commissioner Nitre,
Yes.
Commissioner Bullheis,
Yes.
Commissioner DeBrey,
Yes.
Commissioner Grote,
Yes.
Commissioner Camp,
Yes.
Mayor Northrup.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, and Brian, wish you all the well, and hopefully we'll see you in some other capacity, somehow, somewhere, someplace, preferably here. Last is the appointments to boards. We had 3 board members that need slots that really desperately need to get filled. I think I've talked to several of you already about Aiden Gemin, who's 5th generation of the Gemin hardware store, serving on the Terrace Square Advisory Board. Jack, are you still on that, or which? Dan, Dan, you're still on. Are you coming off? You're not coming off, though. It was Dan, it was Jack.
I'm coming.
So this basically be your replacement.
Right.
Yeah. And as we know, Aiden Gimmon represents next generation leadership in the community. He's actually pretty excited about serving on the board. Allison Freeze has been around. She has served on the board review for years. She's solid. I know, Dave, you served with her. She's just somebody that's very level-headed, has served the city in several volunteer capacities. And then, of course, Dave Bendert, who's a engineer, served on the planning commission for years, just a real steady guy. You know, the ZBA doesn't meet that often, but when they do meet, we need to have judges, not clouded. Both Allison and Dave, that stand. I spoke to all these candidates. I would ask that the commission make a motion. Approve.
So moved.
Support.
Been moving support. Any other discussion?
I would, we in the future, I think or I should say in the past, we've done applications sent to us on each of the
There's
individuals.
clearly been a bit of a breakdown with Jill and myself. And Tyler, as you know, that's always been a work process, how to find appropriate professional talent to serve on our boards and committees. There's natural reluctance in the community to serve on these things. I'm thankful. But that is something historically we would get there. In this case, we were kind of up at the ball. We need to get that, the DBA filled.
Dave still planning?
Yes.
We're actually required to have a planning commission.
Right now,
Yeah.
Any other discussion on these board members? I want to thank the commission for your support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Those candidates are so. Before I ask for the adjournment, and Tyler's moment, anything? Dave?
Grateful you all were flexible with me with my baseball schedule, just through the beginning of June. Tuesdays and Thursdays will be a little tight timing for me, but I'll do my best to be here and try to look as professional as I can.
It's summer. Sometimes we can let our hair down, so to speak. You hear me again?
I hope everybody survives tonight, and I'm thankful for our professionals that work to keep us safe, and thank you for your time. Because I know it's a long night many times. Yeah, and that sometimes you have to travel out in the weather. So thank you very much for what you do in keeping us safe.
Grandkids good? Next cruise is when?
Actually, I am going to be catering the retirement party down at Battle Creek for the retirees from the Air National Guard. Yeah, so Mark Andersma and Evan both got a hold of me and said, hey, we'd like to throw your hat in the ring. And I said, sure. So we
How
put
many,
together- be 120 people total. But I guess they have a good group of retirees, so that's, I forget what the date is, but
And congratulations on your rub just taking off, being an NCAP Myers. That's just awesome.
pretty soon I'll have to hire you to come and work for me.
Third part-time job. Thank you very much. Anything, Ashley? Andrea? Public comments. I don't know if I even asked for any. I'll turn it over to you, Tyler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Deputy Clerk Ravenaugh, I just want to confirm, we did have a vote in item number 8. I know we had a motion in a second. Did we?
Yes.
I did a
Firmly-
voice. I did a voice.
Okay.
On that number 8.
All right, just wanted to double check, so thank you. To kick off the meeting, one thing that we installed about 1.5 years, 2 years ago was internal construction review meetings. These are currently being led by Sarah Steffens. They were led by Bob, but it gives an opportunity for various department leadership to weigh in on various projects where we can collaborate on needs and frankly just make sure we're communicating and we're on the same page. So we have these meetings once a month, and Chief Essenberg sits in on those. Sarah and Dan from Planning and Zoning, myself, John Grolu sits on them. And if there's any need, we'll bring in another department head, but we don't want to waste their time. So I'm going to run through just some highlights on that report to keep the commission and the community updated. There was 2 on-site meetings today with staff at Terrace Station and landings at Rush Creek, working with the engineers, the contractors, not sure if the owners were there. Utility connections, parking, ensuring that the site plan approved by the Planning Commission is being implemented accordingly. It's much easier to find issues before they happen, and then we have to go back and they're chewing up concrete or asphalt. So it's a way for us to stay aligned as a unit and work with the developers. So those 2 meetings took place today. The electric, switching gears to the School Avenue parking lot, that was new, a great collaborative effort by the city and the DDA. The EV charging station has been delivered as of last week. The secondary meter will be installed by Excel Electric, and the chargers will follow after that. but we're just finishing our needs. The electric's been wired. Consumers was on site about a month and a half ago. The decorative light poles we have there have electric to use for potential activation. As I mentioned earlier, parking lots are notoriously for cars, but they're also an opportunity. And this gives us flexibility, whether it's food truck rallies or a band. We have power available for future use, where we install that as part of the project versus reactively. We don't know what downtown will end up looking like. We have a great idea, but it gives us more opportunity to enhance that area.
How many
So-
stations?
Look at two. And we went with we didn't go with the high dollar, we didn't go cheap, we did mid-level, in terms of the charging efficiency. There's a term there.
So Jacob, a lot of people that have EVs, they have an app to see where they can park, have lunch, and charge their vehicles. We get it, is that part of the package if they get us on that app so that people on the interstate know they can pull in here and charge their vehicle, have lunch at our restaurant?
With regards to Hudsonville Flats, there was a utility pole from the original Hudson Center project that was not being removed, that needed to be removed. So we are working on getting that removed to release the $10,000 performance bond to Mr. Gearman. Light poles, 4 are currently down on Chicago Drive, 2 in the DDA lot off of Cherry, and 1 in the DDA is missing the globe. Chief has taken the lead and helped us on insurance recoveries. Some of these poles are getting hit way too often, and so we're looking at what can we do differently for efficiency. Getting the parts in, getting it installed is more challenging than the actual money. So just an update, we're looking into that.
Do we get reimbursed?
On some of them, yes. Whether or not we want to make a claim, we have to weigh that out besides the deductible and how many insurance claims we're making. But generally speaking, we try to obtain these, especially if they're hit and there's a documented incident. We can work with usually the auto owner's insurance company for restitution. 40th Avenue surfacing from Grant to Chicago Drive. We're looking at a May letting. The project is tentatively set for September or October. Within the letting documents, they are steering clear of the fair traffic, probably a week before and a week after. But one of the things that we try to do is offer a wider time scope for the contractors. They're very busy, and we give them the flexibility on potential timelines. What we've seen here, at least in my 3 years, is we're getting work done at a larger cost savings. But this is grant funded through the Grand Valley Metro Council, and the funding opened up this year. So come fall, we'll finish that section of 40th Ave. With regards to the oral surgery center that's coming to Hudsonville that the Planning Commission discussed last year, they're currently installing the utilities, so we're seeing progress on that. When we get more of a defined construction date, I'll be sure to inform the City Commission. The Highland Drive lift station rehab, this has been in CIP for a few years. It's tentative for August. Construction will take roughly 6 weeks. The contractor asked us for a hard close. After talking with staff, I decided it was in the best interest for the city, the residents, to leave that open. It did cost us a little bit more, but for that area of the city and the impact, extra, give them a break, safety protocols, we'll pay to have those established during the work for the lift station and or the Highland Drive road reconstruction. No timeline yet for wireless edge, but as soon as we get that timeline, potential build out, be sure to inform you. Mike Klosterhouse from the Facilities Department, Dave Dahl from the Emergency Services, erected a temporary connectivity, because when we start taking the tower down, we have equipment that we still need to signal. So we're doing a trial run right now of what that would look like. The beautiful wooden pole sticking straight up. I think duct tape might have been used, but all indications are that it works right now, so we know that our emergency services can communicate as necessary. Go ahead, Dave.
Can I say something about what that actually is?
Ask the mayor.
Certainly, Dave, please step up.
we get the new cell phone tower, one of the things that we requested and Wireless Edge said they would do is put an endpoint for a high-frequency antenna on that tower that will run from the tower to a point on the building. A high-frequency antenna, an HF antenna, is basically a long wire. But to know where we want that to be, we needed to check and see how RF noisy this building is, right? How much radiation do we have in here that would cause noise on those frequencies? So we have a temporary HF antenna out there just to measure noise. Found out the building is actually pretty quiet, so we'll have a lot of flexibility when the tower goes up of where we put the final antenna. But meanwhile, with that temporary antenna up there, we have HF capability. We can communicate with the Emergency Operations Center for the State Police in Lansing directly, and we can communicate with FEMA in Washington, D.C.
We have a line of sight that far?
It's not line of sight. HF bounces.
Oh, it's HF.
Yeah. So it bounces off the atmosphere. And when we got it set up late last week, we did a quick test and talked to a guy on Merritt Island, which, if you know where that is, that's just outside Kennedy Space Center. So it works.
Very good.
But yes, it is ugly, but that's not the way it's
Well,
going to look
it's
when
just
it's done.
temporary.
I didn't go that far.
Anything else there, Tyler?
I'll rapid fire. Huddy's Patio, if you haven't checked it out, drive by, substantial
Cool.
progress.
Yeah, a lot of progress.
Yep.
Drove by.
Highland Drive resurfacing, we have a pre-construction meeting next week. It's tentatively looking for a mid to late May, or even early June start. We may wait till school gets out. The project timeline for that is gonna be roughly 2.5 months. But that's coming through the queue, and we'll make sure we inform the community and the schools accordingly. We have inspections budgeted for the New Holland Water Tower. Been working with John Grollo on not only the inspections, but some circuit boards and connectivity and potential pipe upsizing that might be needed. City Engineer Don DeVries has been knee-deep in that conversation with us, so may have something coming up with regards to the New Holland Water Tower, as well as some. Then finally, as far as this update's concerned, had a great conversation with Water Resource Commissioner Joe Bush last week, talking about the high water levels throughout the region, as well as drainage districts and erosion mitigation efforts. We had to do some additional work as part of the Berry Street realignment. The creek at Elm and Oak had some guardrail damage to a falling tree from that area. So working with Joe, him and his team have been great to work with, but not only talking about the current issues, but what can we do to prevent things and be proactive versus reactive. Erosion often gets worse, it gets better. We want to mitigate it before it starts. Rapid fire here, Bloom and Browse, May 2nd at Terrace Square from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Terrace Square staff's done great organizing that. Really good team down there right now. A lot of energy, a lot of good talent, so save the date. Farmers Market kicks off June 3rd, Wednesdays, 9 a.m. and runs through the end of September, so looking forward to that. DPW Director interviews, we had just under 20 applications. From there, we whittled it down to 5 interviews. From those 5, the group unanimously moved forward with 2 candidates. Both candidates, I think, would definitely fit the need for the leadership we need down there. Very happy with the 2 that we have. So on Monday, Mike Klosterhouse will lead an hour and a half tour of the city. We mapped it out, highlights, lift stations, water towers, parks, city assets. And then from there, we will go to 2 20-minute interviews. One will be with city leaders, Commissioner Nitre sitting on both of those, thank you, as well as Community Engagement Director Lindsay Hicks will be sitting on those with myself and Andrea. And then we'll have an opportunity for the Public Works Department. I afforded them the opportunity to select 2 representatives, participate, where they are in there to, ask some questions that fit the interview style that we're looking for, but we definitely want their input as well. So look forward to having those on this Monday. And thank you, Andrea. Well done on this entire process. And thank you, everyone who's participated. On Friday, late Friday, I received updated library parking lot quotes, and good news here is the engineer's estimate was roughly $115,000. The low bid is actually substantially underneath that, and the contractor is ready to go. I was not able to assemble everything we needed for this meeting. I'll get with the mayor. There's a chance that I request that the planned workshop, we are having a workshop for April 24th, turn into a special meeting with discussion focus after that. In talking to Mary about the library's busier times, we have to shut down the parking lot. We wanted to pick a good time window, and the low bidder, the low bid, excuse me, not only to come in under, but they can get the work done by June 1, and they're ready to start. So I'll talk with the mayor about how we move forward there, but they want to get it done. We want them to get it done. But I really appreciate Don DeVries taking the lead there to take some weight off the Public Works Department to navigate this.
You said April 24th for workshop?
28.
28th.
24th, but really the
Huh?
28th. Tuesday the 28th.
Tuesday, the 28th. Thank you. Okay. So that will be what time?
Whatever time you want. I'd recommend 6.
Yep.
And Mr. Mayor, if it's okay with you, I'll work with you on whether that is going to be posted as a
Let's
workshop.
just go with that. That's kind of a given. Okay.
3 more items here. We just had our 3rd collective bargaining agreement with the SEIU, which represents the DPW union. Good discussion today. More work on the table. We're getting there. Conversations are going good. There is some work left on the table, but in discussion with the union representative, union steward, and a member of the bargaining team, I believe us to be on the same page of what we're trying to do and why we're trying to do it. It's just working on the language to represent that. So hopefully we're bringing something to you first meeting of June. Still got a little bit of time, but it is a process. Continue to sit down with the ODC, led with Sarah Steffens and Jacob. We're meeting with members of the ODC on grants and closing that gap funding to bring the ODC to the Nature Center. One thing I want to remind this body of, as well as the community, is we received a $400,000 grant from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund for $400,000. And that'll require a match from the city and the ODC. The city's contribution is $240,000, with the ODC at $160,000. We'll also be doing some sewer work down there as well, which will be great for not only to bring bathrooms there, but it allows additional opportunity.
The enterprise fund,
Yeah, great.
what budget?
The roughly $230,000 for sewer work will come out of the sewer fund, and the $240,000 will come as our participating costs from the general fund.
General.
Yep. And one thing, the ODC is,
And that was budgeted
it'll be in next year's budget.
next year's budget?
Yep.
And we're having the budget meeting on
May 28th, is that what we,
April 28th?
no, that'll be for the CIP.
CIP.
Yep. And then we'll cement at the workshop. I talked to you guys about when we do the budget workshop, and we'll lock that date down too. I think we settled, but we'll formally settle at that time. One thing I want to bring up is, regardless of the gap funding is closed or not, the way that we approach this grant is, if for some reason the ODC and the city collectively were not able to realize the gap funding, the improvements as stated in the grant, even by itself without the ODC, are substantial improvements to the Nature Center, which is in our strategic plan and our master plan. If we were to get to that point, that's something for us
Let's not speculate.
for us to talk about. Oh, yeah, all signs point to, it's just,
Dave, I would think if I like that.
Yeah.
Given our industry here and the need for their
their fundraising team, and Dave, you were part of it, is pretty impressive. So I'm confident, but regardless, it was built out in a way, if this, then this, and we have multiple scenarios where I think we can advance the city's mission one way or the other. And then finally, good news, using the RRC technical assistance funds I mentioned at your previous workshop, I think we're at the point where we need to look at how we do capital improvement plan. It's good, but we can be better, and our standards are higher than like communities. The proposal worked with Maynard Kostierson, a firm that I've worked close with in my previous life. They're willing to tackle this. They have proven experience. The quote we got from them was roughly $18,000, and tapping into RC technical funds as part of our participation, it'll pay for roughly $14,000 of that. We got verbal approval that we're good to go. We're waiting on the final agreement. and we're able, with the additional $4,000 funds, if we go up to that, we found with existing budgetary items. So what this process will look like is taking the software that you were exposed to at your workshop, but also make sure we are hitting the timelines and the right people are involved, including the planning commission. It will make us better, and when we're better pre-planning, we are saving money for the community. We are being more timely. Again, not that the city in the past has done a bad job by any means, but there's some meat on the bone there,
So
so.
do we have to load current CIP into that software?
We've already done that. We've already done that to an extent. But, you know, the CIP for this year as we budget, we have good data that we've worked on in previous years. But what this allows us to do is to moving forward, to integrate that software and have defined process and procedures. Right now, there is nothing of the sort. And so having a professional firm come in, it's just going to make us better, and it's only going to cost us $4,000 using these grant funds. With that being said, there's a lot of other moving parts. Reach out to me individually, but if there's any questions, I can take those right now.
I'd like to back up, if I may, and make one comment on the EV charging stations. Obviously, I'm a very strong proponent of it, but I would suggest we consider some guidelines on the use. Having worked for a business that had several of these in front of their business, it happened most nights where you came in the next morning and there was a car sitting and charging, and it would stay there for most of the day. And it kind of clogs up the use and what we intend for that charging station to be. And we could easily see people in the apartment complex, they're just parking their car there and just keeping it there, charging. And so we just want to be cognizant of that.
Jacob, you got to handle that.
I mean, it's a public parking lot, so from an enforcement standpoint, there's not a whole lot we can do outside of good faith.
We don't allow parking.
I mean, yeah, there's that as well.
So that's
Not that I'm opposed to that, but I just want us to watch, because again, I saw it every night. In Charles, there was one particular car that came and just parked it there and charged and would sit there most of the day.
Well, we're going to have some appropriate signage of some sort.
Yeah, Sarah's working on the signage, but with it being public parking, we're limited in the enforcement of certain aspects, but what we can do is utilize our ordinances. And with regards to Terra Station and the public portion of the parking, we are looking at those right now, and I've instructed staff to not only think in the moment, but make sure we're developing policies and we're amending ordinances that are future-proof to ensure we're giving ourselves the best shot at the future. That's going to change as the downtown builds out, but Commissioner, I'll take these notes. I'll work with Jacob and DDA, and under the guidance of it being a public parking lot. It is owned by the DDA, but we are great allies with the
We don't want
DDA,
it to
so
become a
we'll
circle.
make sure we try to get it right.
Anything? Last chance. Hearing none, we are adjourned.